All right. Let me
Right.
and we're live, but we have a little bit of a formality first. I got to play a little bit of intro music.
Okay.
You are now listening to the Inner Circle Podcast Network.
Oh yeah.
Get them titties out. Get them kitties out. Get them cooters out. Get them pooters out. Shit happens when you party naked. Shit happens when you party naked. Get them titties out. Get them kitties out. Get them cooters out. Get them pooters out. Shit happens when you party naked.
Hell yeah, motherfuckers. Welcome to Shit Happens When You Party Naked. I am the host of this particular entertainment show, Jason Alme. And I am joined by an extra special guest tonight. It hasn't been just me and you since January, dog. I got motherfucking Donald motherfuck Gates. What's good, buddy?
What's up, brother? Yeah, I know. It's been since fucking January that it was just the two of us, and we got to sit together.
Yeah. And it hurts me. I resisted, because you've been on the show with a couple of other folks, in some like roundtable situations, one where we talked about COVID back in April or whenever that was. And then
back in March, we talked about COVID when all
was that
of us
March?
were like, yeah, all of us were like, it's a conspiracy. This is bullshit. It's going to be over in 2 weeks.
It's still bullshit, but it's bullshit for other reasons.
It's still bullshit. Yeah. And then let's see here. We did the LC episode, and then you were on my show a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So I feel like we've been together, but I've been resisting this. Like,
I know.
You and me one-on-one. I didn't want to do it virtually.
I know.
Because you're not very far from me. You're in New England.
For real.
I'm right down the street.
It's so easy.
Actually, I'm moving to Rochester. I might actually be closer to you now.
Yeah, you might be. Where were you before? Somersworth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Rochester's a little bit closer. Yeah, you're like 2 minutes closer now.
Sweet. Well, this shit can't last forever. It can't.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. I got a push on my way over here. I got a push on my way over here that said Dr. Fauci, who everyone just takes everything he says for gospel.
Well, he's a doctor. He knows more about that shit than I do.
Well, sure. Why not? But he says we could see a return to real normality in 2021. But I don't know if any of the listeners realize 2021 is a whole year. He could mean fucking December 2021.
He could, yeah. It could be any time before December the 31st,
right?
2021. Yeah.
And even then, I'm not optimistic anymore. This whole thing started with me being optimistic that it was all going to be over in a few weeks.
Is that rare for you to be optimistic in general?
Is that what?
Rare for you? Is that a rare occurrence for you to be optimistic?
I would say I'm probably a pretty optimistic person usually.
No shit.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I was optimistic. I guess I'm naive. I think naive is a better word than optimistic.
No shit. I think it might be more of a compliment to call you optimistic, though. Like I would feel a little bit.
Yeah, it's more of a compliment, but I think that I'm more naive.
Okay.
With most things, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like an ostrich. I'll just bury my fucking head in the sand and hope it's all over soon.
Yeah. You'll do like a ostrich keg stand.
Yep.
Bury your head in the titty.
And you know what? This whole thing hasn't been fun. Like, I don't know if it's been fun for anyone, but I think that there's a lot of people that were like, this is a 3-month party. Like, I'm getting paid to just hang out and do nothing. Yeah. And, for me, I'm still fucking working.
Yeah.
I still had to work through the whole thing. Yeah. Like, nothing, like, my life kind of remained about the same, except that now I go into stores and I get bad looks because I don't wear a mask.
Yeah. That's a whole thing. I went into that on my last episode talking about the.
I heard you.
Yeah,
I heard your rant.
I had a really nice encounter with an old lady.
Yeah, at a rest stop, huh?
Yeah, and again, it's like I can understand if you. I object to the whole fucking. I object to the whole thing.
What's weird is that it's a stranger thing, right? Because if you, not the show, but like it's like a I don't know you type of thing. But like, so I went to the Elks Club the other night here in Portsmouth, and there's like a handful of elderly people there, right? So this guy walks up and he says, like, hey, I don't want to shake your hand because I'm elderly, and he gives me all the reasons. He says, I don't want to shake your hand or whatever. And then we talk for like 5 minutes. He gets to know me a little better, and then he says his goodbyes and shakes my hand.
He touched you?
Mm-hmm. He did. He touched me on more than my hand.
Well, how do you feel knowing that you've murdered that poor man?
I feel fine.
Knowing
you know what? Your fucking home country there's a band out of your fucking land called the Lax out of Georgia. They're a country rap band. And
country rap, that's good stuff. Yes, I love that.
Yeah. It's interesting to listen to. A lot of like Colt Ford, he's country rap. The former lead singer of the band Rehab, which wrote that bartender song, his name is Danny Boone. He's country rap. And he so anyways, this band, the Lax, one of their members, like one of their lead singers, they post like a week or two ago, like like they show a picture of him, and he's like, this corona's no joke, guys, you got to take it seriously. I ended up getting it, and he's all sick and whatever. And then he posts like a recovery video last night saying like, so this is what happened. I had like a fever, and I had like a cold and a cough and whatever, and I went to the doctor, and it ended up that I had pneumonia, and I also had corona, and I was sick as hell for 2 weeks, for however long, a week, however long it was. And now I'm fine. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, so you had pneumonia. You didn't have pneumonia, and corona's what was the problem. You had pneumonia.
I got to send you this link. It was one of my buddies sent it to me, actually, Adam Simmons. You know him. So I don't have to actually refer to him as just my buddy. Yeah. Salmon and PC, according to my wife, who's in the chat, by the way. She's in the.
I can see that.
Hi, wife. Yeah, she was confirming that the lady was very bitchy to us. I don't think my wife has heard my rant on the last episode yet. I can't wait to hear what my wife has to think.
Well, yeah, if she's not on the episode, she's not going to listen to it like that. I've found
even when
that
she's
out.
On, dog. Even when she's on, dude. I make no illusions about that shit. Like, I'll play shit for her sometimes. It's like if it's really something I want her to hear. But otherwise, it's like, although the live streams, I have noticed she's jumping in the live streams.
She checks in on the live streams.
Yeah, it's a good way to like track my whereabouts. I figured she had me like with one of those James Bond like tracking chips in my arm when I was
Speaking
sleeping.
of James Bond, the only one that I've seen is the Denise Richards one.
We got to do something about that, bro. Would you like to get on the rewatch with me and Chris?
Yeah, sure.
Because I think it would be lovely. I just think it would, knowing the type of films you like, especially like that you like the ones that are like very actiony and kind of military-ish. It's easy to imagine James Bond as a former. In fact, I think he is former military. He attained the rank of commander,
Probably.
and they continue to refer to him as Commander Bond on formal occasions in the Daniel Craig universe of Bond films. But they're really stupendous movies. They're really well made. They're like, they tell a more tight story. The Daniel Craig ones are a little bit more grounded and realistic. They're not like fancy. Like the one that you saw had a lot of,
And I haven't seen that one, and I saw it when it came out. I don't remember the name of it, like 007 Fuck Christmas or something like that.
Yeah. I love my wife is like, oh my God, talking shit while I'm listening. Yeah, honey. I mean, that's the funnest way to do it. You don't want me to do it behind your back. Shit.
Yeah, you're towns away.
Yeah. She could come up here and kick my ass before this show ends.
I haven't seen Star Wars either. I was happy to hear you say those are dog shit anyways.
Yeah. Which have you not seen any Star Wars at all?
Not even. I think that when I was a very, very young child, 3 or 4, I probably saw the first one.
Okay.
And then the video store that we rented the second one from, the tape would always spit out the strip of tape 5 minutes into the second one all the time. So yeah, I never saw it. And I felt like it was a sign.
Yeah, Star Wars is garbage. At me, anybody that fucking wants to argue, at Party Naked Pod on the socials. If you want to tell me to eat a dick, come at me, because honestly, they're garbage. The only reason. There's this thing that happens, and it's not just me, but it does happen to me. I've noticed it happen to me, but it happens to everybody. And that's the reason why Star Wars is a thing. But people watch things when they're young. When you're 6, 7, 8, you'll watch shit And then even if it's garbage and your parents are like, how the fuck do you enjoy this? This is garbage. It's got a special place in your heart because you enjoyed it when you were
like Back to the Future.
Yeah, although I don't know, Back to the Future is pretty fucking good.
It's so good. I've watched that trilogy
Yeah.
probably 5 times in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. So I would say definitely get on the original trilogy of Star Wars. They're really good. They're really enjoyable. There's a lot of good stuff there, but then the prequel trilogy has its own set of problems, and then the sequel.
That was what really turned me off to the movies. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, so what order am I supposed to watch these in?
Yeah. I there's different opinions, but I think the popular one among fans now is to watch episode 4 and 5. Those are the first 2 of the original trilogy. Episode 4 and 5. Skip episode 1 of the of the prequel trilogy. Watch episode 2 and 3.
Yeah, I can't keep.
Then watch 6 and 9.
You lost me. Honestly, you lost me with watch episode 2. That's the second one in the third trilogy.
Just watch them in release order.
I want to watch at least the first 2 or 3 because I have a bit that I'm working on that's like 2 or 3 minutes long. But it really only works if I actually watch the first couple of movies.
I say you're gonna have to do that then.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna be forced to.
Are you thinking about doing some stand-up? I was listening to your most recent episode, and it's like you seem like you want to like say funny things in front of a crowd of drunk people.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'd like to. I mean, I don't actually know if I'm actually even funny at all. So I guess we'll start there. But I mean, I'd like to try to put together a nice like 5 minutes of something just to try it. You know, the problem is that where we're at, Seacoast area of New Hampshire, there's not a lot of open mics for comedy. There's a ton of fucking open mics for fucking anyone that wants to play their goddamn flute on stage or something. So to get to like a good comedy open mic night where it's like strictly comedy, not anyone can jump up here with a piano, you got to go down to Boston. And
wouldn't you feel like you were relieving those poor people? Like there's some dude with a flute, there's like spoken word poetry, and everybody is just like,
yeah, that's
just
true.
Paced faster than you were last weekend on that 151.
That's
like everyone's just, God, they're like slitting their wrists. They're like trying to break
that's true.
So they can slit their own.
It could be very Star Search like, if you remember that show from the 80s. When,
I'm old enough to remember it.
Nobody guys breakdancing one show, and then the next guy is playing a piano, and the next guy's doing comedy.
They call it America's Got Talent now, Donnie, and my wife watches it every fucking week. I'm all about America's Got Talent. Howie Mandel.
I get on board with that. Isn't that like an elimination show?
Yeah, they eliminate people. It's a reality show, so
that's what I liked about Star Search was it was just like people coming up doing their thing.
Yeah,
and then peace out.
Like that, except they introduced that little element of like they have a few really terrible people that you get to kind of like laugh at when they boo off stage. I don't know. It's kind of horrible too, but it's also like that evil person inside you is like, yeah, you do suck, you fucker. You get to laugh at them. Like
that was the other thing I was gonna say about like wanting to get into an open mic was that really to get to like a strictly comedy open mic is you have to go down to Boston where it's like a younger crowd. Like I tried one. Well, I didn't try one, but I went to one once. Thinking like, okay, maybe I'll come back next week and try this. But it's like the crowd is all college age kids who they don't relate to me at all.
No,
I can't relate to them.
I mean,
and on top of that, they've been fucking doing this whole open mic thing for years. Yeah. So, like I don't know, I'm a little too self-conscious to get up in front of a place where I'm probably gonna bomb. I know that if I did it 10 or 20 or 50 times, then I'm gonna bomb here and there, and that's fine.
Of course.
But I'm not so sure how I would feel about
bombing. I mean, like even Michael Jordan plays a shitty game. You just it's just part of life. Anything that you do, you're gonna suck a few times.
Right.
In the beginning.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about it as well. I thought it would be fun.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know that my first 10 episodes of this my fucking show fucking sucked. So
yeah, I mean,
and actually, probably the first 50 episodes sucked. So
yeah,
but they're getting better.
78 and definitely number 79 is off to a shit start. So just saying. No, I'm playing. Although I did manage to get us yanked off of YouTube last time, and tonight I was having such a hard time in the opening because I love brandishing my pistol during that part, and that's
what got kicked off.
Yes, YouTube on July 4th weekend, no less. That's how much YouTube hates America, is that they yanked my stream down because I brandished a pistol. And I'll have you know, I legally own this pistol. I had a background.
Right.
And just for YouTube, the gun's right here. It's just barely out of camera. There is a pistol right here, YouTube. Go fuck yourself. You'll never see it, but it's
I have one right here that's tempting not to just pull it out and fuck up.
Yeah, but YouTube is I'm trying to do something for YouTube. And so look, it's very, to me, it strikes me as like really anti-American because like,
well, it's odd just because there are still gun channels on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
So what was the problem with your show?
I watched a guy shoot a semi-automatic shotgun that was like magazine fed the other day on YouTube. And I thought that's pretty cool. I want to buy one of those. I hope my wife actually bumped out of the chat before I said that. I'm like, yeah, I want to buy one of those. I think I need for home defense. Wouldn't a magazine-fed shotgun, semi-automatic shotgun, just be
absolutely?
Yes,
it's necessary. Really,
like,
I mean, I think for home defense you need
more than 3 shells. You know,
I think for home defense you need an M240 Bravo, belt-fed machine gun, something like that. Maybe a chainsaw.
Absolutely,
a Browning chain gun.
I think the thing about that is, I don't think I should have to justify why I need a gun. I don't need to say, well, I need this for home defense or hunting, because I think the minute you concede that you're giving this gun, I'm buying this thing for some kind of valid purpose, then you open the door to people saying, well, no, you don't really need that for home defense, because that thing fires through a wall and you're going to miss the perp and your wife's going to be sleeping in the other room and then the whole room is going to explode. Guess what? I don't need to give you a reason why I want a fucking rocket launcher. I want to blow some shit up. That's the real fucking reason. I could make it about hunting or home defense, but I'm not buying a belt-fed machine gun. I'm buying a belt-fed machine gun because I grew up on Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, motherfucker. Not because I need to defend my home from a fucking helicopter.
There's so many guns that I buy and so many guns that I want, that I buy or want based on seeing them in a TV show or a movie.
Bro, that Alex guy is talking shit about our fucking love of guns.
You Americans and your need to whip out your weapons.
And he makes it a cultural thing. You know what I mean? He makes it You Americans are so boorish because why? I have a 4.0 at the University of New Hampshire. I'm getting a master's degree. I'm in a master's program. I'm not some kind of idiot who scratches his ass with his fucking gun. But I like fucking guns. I'm not going to apologize for it.
Like, you actually like fucking them? Like, having them in your ass?
Everything. I like fucking them. I like making sweet love to them sometimes. Like, if it's you're not fucking on Valentine's Day, you're making sweet love. I like to cradle her. She sleeps right next to me on my pillow. And YouTube is anti-American. They disrespected my Second Amendment rights. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. That's weird.
And
but,
you know what?
But I've talked about this many times.
Over my fucking head. Sometimes.
I've talked about this many times on Gun Shop Guys, where the problem is that, like, YouTube is a private company and Facebook's a private company, and like they can make their own policy. And I think that that's a problem with what I think is the privatization of America, where like I work for the fucking post office. This is federal government. It's a government job.
You want to know?
I still can't. I can't carry a firearm, because it's against policy. If I work for Walmart, they have a policy against carrying weaponry. Like, it's the privatization. So really, your constitutional rights extend to, like, if you're walking down the road, maybe in some states.
Yeah, find me one employer that's not Sig Sauer or Beretta or something like that, where you're allowed to carry a gun. I mean, find me. I don't mean inside that industry.
And even Sig, I deliver to Sig Industries in Portsmouth, and their employees can't carry firearms while they work. So like, they're building firearms, but they can't carry a firearm.
You work for a firearm company. I work right across the street from there. Well, I used to. I work from home now. Thank you, COVID, as we discussed earlier. I work from home now, but our office used to be, it still is, but one day maybe we'll return to it. It's like right across the street from the big Sig building in Portsmouth.
Yeah. Wait, what? You used to work over there?
Yeah, I mean, technically still do. I work for the company. Well, one day we'll go back to the office, but it's not going to happen in 2020.
What office is that?
You know those P's, those offices over there on...
I know them all. I know every single one of them.
It's, what is it? It's
it must be one New Hampshire.
It's it's like 2 Portsmouth Avenue, whatever. It's right
2 International.
International. Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those.
There's
like
a medical office in one of those.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a medical office because we don't see. Well, we do see some patients face to face, but it's mostly telephonic. So it looks mostly like a call center if you were to go in. It's just like medical people working on a call center.
Okay, I think I know the one. I think I know the one now.
Yeah,
2
it's
International
cool
Suite
brick
200.
buildings. Yeah. So so I'm struggling not to brandish my gun because I want to do it now because fucking Alex is
talking shit.
I mean, look, I love you too, Alex. You're a wonderful bloke. Guess that's what they call you guys over there. You're a goon. Make sure to love your wife tonight.
Yeah.
Really love your wife tonight. This is date night. What the fuck are you doing in my chat? Get the fuck out of here. Go please your wife for a minute and a half.
Yeah, wasn't he going to watch 13 Hours tonight, which is a heavy gun movie?
Yeah, what do you say about that? I mean, look, if us Americans didn't love our guns so much, what the fuck would you watch? You want more Woody Allen?
Oh my god!
Or what do you want? What do you want from us? You want more fucking French art house films? No, you got France for that shit. Okay.
There's an excellent website called Internet Movie Firearms Database, right? So it's kind of like IMDb, except it's firearms, so it will tell you the guns used in every movie. So every movie that I watch, I'm like, okay, what gun was that, right? Maybe not every movie, but a lot of movies that I watch, I'm thinking like, okay, what gun was that? What gun was used there? But also, almost every movie that I watch, I think, could this movie end up on IMFDB? And virtually almost every movie can be on IMFDB. Like there's a gun in at least one scene of almost every single movie coming out of Hollywood. I mean, really, the only one that I can think of off the top of my head, maybe Star Wars, but even if you look up Star Wars, I would be willing to bet, and I'm not going to do it now because I'm not an asshole, but I would be willing to bet that if you looked up Star Wars, they will tell you like it's some variation of this gun. The movie Passengers with Chris Pratt, I don't think there's a gun in that movie at all, but I could be wrong.
That's good. I don't like guns. Guns are bad.
I could be wrong, but almost every movie has a gun in it. You like it's very hard to watch a movie without a gun in it.
It is. Yeah, it's tough. I don't. Yeah, I mean, maybe I watched this Oceans movie with my daughter. It was
this Oceans movie.
Yeah, it was one of those documentaries about like fucking ocean creatures and shit.
Okay. I thought you were talking about like either Ocean's 8 with all those stupid girls.
She's not even 1 year old yet. She doesn't. It's like dolphins and shit. She just likes animals. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't. She's 11 months old. She doesn't have the attention span for the deep plots and subtleties of an Ocean's film. And you
could still have her watch it. I think my oldest daughter was 2 years old, and I had her watching The Shield with Michael Chiklis.
That's what I'm talking about.
She was like enamored with it. She was like, her eyes were wide open just watching it. And I said to my ex-wife at the time, I was like, look at how into this movie she is. And she was like, yeah, because it's fucking rated TVMA. What is wrong with you?
What the fuck is wrong with you? When my daughter, I'm going to make my daughter wait till 4, and then I'll show her The Sopranos.
There you go.
That's an important piece of American art right there. So I don't
tried it.
I don't want to hear any motherfucker out there, some parent calling the fucking DFAX on me because me and my daughter are gonna pop popcorn and watch Sopranos, and I have a fucking gun right here. So kiss my fucking.
I watched season 1 on DVD.
You watched the whole season.
The whole season 1 back in like I think I watched the first 3 seasons, but this was back in like 2001 or 2. And I watched the first 3 seasons on DVD, but the other seasons weren't available yet. So I never watched them. And then I went to Iraq for a couple tours. And then, I come back and I was like out of it. I was like, okay, I'm 4 seasons behind. I don't want to watch them now. I don't have the money to buy the seasons anyways. Yeah. And now like I can watch them on HBO, on Amazon if I want to.
Yeah.
But dude, it's so hard to, I know I should because I listen to another podcast that talks about it all the time. But the problem
is wrong.
The problem is I'm like, there's 7 seasons, 13 episodes, 7 times 13. That's what 91. That's 91 hours of my life.
It's gonna
take me fucking months.
You're gonna wish there was 180 when you finish. You're gonna wish that you could get it.
Or there's at least one more from what I hear.
I'm sorry?
Or at least one more from what I hear.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's a bit of controversy.
Oh yeah, I've heard. And that's another problem is that I already know how it ends. So
yeah, but I don't think that would diminish your enjoyment at all either. I think knowing how it ends, and especially since the end is like it doesn't show anything. There's enough ambiguity there. I think that honestly, the show is just so fucking enjoyable. I mean, it's not just what's going to happen, how is it going to unfold. That's part of it, because it's always like who's going to get whacked and what's going to happen this season. Is this guy a rat or is that guy? But it's the performances. It's like the way it's shot. It's the characters. It's it's a really like. At this point, it can be considered a classic piece of American television. It's like, I don't know, it's like not seeing it just feels wrong.
Well, one of the other problems is that I've heard the best episode is the one where Tony and Meadow go to Maine for Meadow to check out of college. I hear that's the best episode. I vividly remember it. So
I was going to say, you've seen that episode if you watched the first season. That was the first season.
Yes. Okay, that was season 1. Okay.
Yeah, but no, I mean, that's one of the good episodes, but honestly, I'm surprised that you haven't picked it back up because by the time the first season ended, I was mad hooked on that shit. I was like,
really? Well, I mean, like I said, I watched the first 3 seasons, and you know what? By about halfway through season 1, I developed a nice cigar habit. Because that opening music that woke up this morning, bought yourself a gun.
Yeah,
that fucking opening scene, and he's driving, smoking a cigar. I was like, yes, this is. And immediately, probably within 6 episodes, I was like, I could go to 7-Eleven and buy a shitty cigar that I think is good because I don't know anything about cigars right now, and smoke a cigar while I drive around in my truck with that song on repeat.
Yeah, that's basically the mood. That's what I want to do every day. That's what I want to do every day. I want to just drive from fucking
buy guns and smoke cigars.
Yeah. And it's better if you don't know that much about cigars. It's easier to enjoy things when you're kind of a noob to them, isn't it? Don't you think? When you're like,
definitely.
It's so much easier to just like pick something up and be like, this looks good.
It's easier to learn like what you like and don't like, but also, there's an intimidation factor of like walking into Federal Cigar and you have no idea what you're looking at, and there's 1,000 fucking options. Yeah, and then you don't have a choice. You have to go to the guy and say, like, this is what I'm looking for. And the guy, and I'm not just talking about Federal Cigars, I'm talking about gun stores or music. If you picked up playing guitar, like anything that you're going to pick up and you go to a store that's specific to that thing and you go to the guy, you might feel intimidated, but the guy is going to be like, yeah, this is great. Like I get to teach, this is someone that's picking up something new, but there's still for that new person.
Yeah.
And he gets to share his experiences. He gets
sort of
to share.
You have to fucking watch Sopranos because I love it so much. It's one of the few shows that I've watched like 4 fucking times, and it's like, oh my god, he's never seen it. Like I gotta just fucking strap you into a chair and fucking pull your eyelids open like Clockwork Orange, and just we're watching.
There are movies that I've watched dozens upon dozens of times, and I'm not even talking about just Marvel, like the movie Passengers that I just mentioned. I bet I've watched that.
What are the movies?
What's that?
Well, I was going to ask, what are the movies that you have watched?
Easily Passengers with Chris Pratt.
What makes that special? Just give me a quick, what makes that movie special to you? I've never seen it.
Oh my god, you should. I shouldn't say you have to, but you should.
I'll watch Passengers and whatever else you tell me.
Okay, that's a fair deal. I don't really know what it is. I think it's the whiskey.
Oh, really?
It starts off, the premise of the movie is that there's a ship on its way from Earth to Earth 2, and it takes 120 Earth years to get from one to the other. Mm-hmm. They're traveling at half the speed of light, and everyone is in suspended animation. Mm-hmm. And this guy's his pod that he's sleeping in malfunctions, and he wakes up 30 years into the trip. And he's alone. He's all by himself, and there's an android. You're going to watch this movie, and then we're going to talk about it.
Okay. On Adulting with Donnie. There we go.
Absolutely. 100%. But he wakes up, and he's alone on this ship, but there's a couple of androids that he can talk to.
Yeah.
And that's about as far as I'm willing to go without spoiling.
Like with the androids, can he?
That's about as far as I'm willing to go without spoiling the movie.
You know what's crazy is that YouTube will let me do this. I'm simulating sex with my index finger and I'm simulating sex visually with my index finger, and I'm making the racist okay sign with my left hand, and
white power.
I'm jamming my index finger forcibly, like very, like really rough kind of like
Mhm,
really kind of
mhm.
nasty,
Just
like
getting
it's
deep
not-
in there.
just getting deep in there. It's
And
an
you can't
assault.
tell if it's a pussy
On
or an asshole
No, it's
or
it could
mouth,
be
I
all of
guess,
the
maybe.
above. It could be all of the above, but
But yeah. So Passengers is a movie.
I can't show my gun off on YouTube. That's the fucked up thing.
Actually, I actually just happen to have my Amazon library open right now. What else have I watched a bunch of times?
Yeah,
Den of Thieves. Den of Thieves I can watch anytime.
Never seen that either.
Oh, you need to. Another one you need to. That's a George, not George. Fuck, what is
George
his name?
Takei.
George Takei. Yes, it's George Takei.
George
No, Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler and Pablo Schreiber, who was also in 13 Hours.
Okay. I haven't seen 13 Hours either. I got this whole
That's another one. Another one that I've watched a bunch of times. In fact, every day of October 2016, I watched that movie leading up to the election, not because of the election, just because it was what I was in love with at the time.
I say.
The Departed, obviously, that's an obvious one.
Good one. Scorsese, yeah, that's a good one right there.
All of the John Wicks, all of the Fast and Furious, Deadpool 2, I loved a lot.
Deadpool 2, I'm right there with you on the love for Deadpool 2. I love Deadpool 2.
You know what? Here's a good. Okay, finish and then I'll finish.
Yes, I loved the kind of James Bond like scene. They were kind of making fun of the James Bond movies because they have that very like action filled opening, and then they go into that song where it's very much like a James Bond movie.
Very slow song. Yep.
Yeah, and it's a fucking banging song, dude. I was like, oh my god, he fucking got Celine Dion to fucking write a song and put it in the goddamn. He's in the music video for Celine Dion. I was like, first of all, okay, it's actually a good fucking song. B, he's like making fun of the James Bond movies, how they always do those like song openings with the cool.
I don't even know if it's a good song. It's just an apropos
song. It's a fucking good. It's a banger. Like watch the music video with Deadpool in it.
I didn't know there was a music video. I didn't even know the song was made for the movie.
Yeah, the song was like an original for the film because they're both fucking Canadian or whatever. They got like the Canadian connection. Everybody's got their own. Everyone's got each other's phone numbers up there. There's like 5 Canadian celebrities, so they all know each other. They're in the Rolodex. So he calls her up and he's like, "Hey, you want to make a song for me? Hey, I'm fucking Canadian." I don't know why he talks like that when he's not. That's how I imagine he talks. Like talks like he's from Brooklyn. Hey, I'm from fucking Toronto. Well, you want to make a fucking song for me? Hey. So yeah,
you had said that like you could watch Sopranos a bunch of times or whatever.
Yeah, Sopranos rewatchable very easily, very easily.
So like, and then you asked about my movies that I could watch over and over, and I named one. But I could like maybe draw a line between the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, where I've watched the first 4 like a few dozen times, maybe not a few dozen, maybe a dozen times. I've watched all of those over again.
The first trilogy.
The first trilogy, and then the 4th one I bear with. The 5th one was fucking garbage.
That's the 5th one was the one with Javier Bardem, right?
Was it?
I guess I'm asking you actually.
The 5th one was with the guy that bled like oil out of his mouth or something.
Yeah, that's Javier Bardem was the guy who.
Yeah, that movie sucked balls.
I have seen the first Pirates of the Caribbean several times. I saw the second one once in theaters, and I walked out, and I was like, I'm done with this franchise. I
haven't seen any of them in theaters.
They're trash. I've only seen the first 2.
So all of the movies. So the movies that I love, you're telling me are trash.
No, because Deadpool 2 is great. The Departed is also really, really great.
Departed is great, and The Departed you can jump in at any minute and start watching as long as you've seen the whole movie.
A good film is just like that. Goodfellas is like that. Goodfellas is one of those movies. It's also a
never seen it.
Oh God! I knew this was gonna fucking happen.
That's why I didn't understand the reference when you did the whole gun thing back in January or December. You did that whole gun video, like we're gonna fucking get a steak and smoke a cigar and loading up guns or whatever. I didn't understand the reference, and I was like, okay, he's talking about guns and alcohol. I guess I'll just do a response video.
Holy shit! Well, okay, look,
I can do guns and alcohol.
You're in for the treat of a lifetime because Goodfellas is in my top 3 of all time. That's one of those films that I was going to respond with. I have seen dozens of times. I will watch dozens more times, God willing. Goodfellas is an incredible film. It's just it's Scorsese's best, in my opinion, at least.
What's the time period that it takes place in?
So mostly it takes place during the 70s. It's set during the 70s. There's a bit in the beginning that's set during the 60s when the main character is young. But it's just such a well done film. We could even do a companion piece to Goodfellas because I have a lot of like really technical like film theory thoughts about the way he builds the movie. There's like phases of the film where like in the beginning the character is young, he's just getting into the mob lifestyle, and the way Martin Scorsese shoots the film.
So it sounds very Sopranos.
Yeah,
Sounds like The Sopranos was made of Goodfellas.
Yeah, the Sopranos,
or maybe Knockaround Guys.
Yeah, not Knockaround Guys. No,
I just felt like throwing that punch in there.
Dumb son of a bitch! I swear to God. But Goodfellas, I have to highly recommend. Even before Sopranos, Goodfellas is a classic of the genre, and Sopranos definitely draws from Goodfellas for sure. For sure.
So I have there's a problem with me. Firstly, I don't want to watch
several problems, bro. Where the fuck do we start?
There's a handful, yeah. I don't want to watch anything that was made in like the 80s and maybe even the early 90s. I don't want to watch them.
That's a problem. That's a big problem.
But I can live with things that were made in the 2000s but take place in the 60s or 70s, like American Gangster.
Yeah. So Goodfellas came out. It was released in 90, maybe 91. Either way, don't sleep on it. It's classic filmmaking. Look, it doesn't have the shine of new movies, but it's not supposed to. It's supposed to look the way it does. It's supposed to.
But I like a shine. Like I like a nice Michael Bay Transformers.
Yeah. See, this is not
high definition camera.
No. Well, this is high definition. You can get. I mean, they filmed in actual. I mean, Scorsese shoots on film. That goes very fucking high. It goes beyond 4K if they master it to the disc. Yeah. Right. So you can pick up a 4K of Goodfellas and you can watch that on a 4K television in a remarkable picture quality. So it's just, look, I watch films. Some of my favorite films are from the 1930s. The Awful Truth is.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah, 1937, Awful Truth, starring Irene Dunne and Cary Grant. I can watch that movie and directed by Leo McCarey. Yeah, Leo McCarey. He won an Academy Award for that film, I believe. And I can watch that. I've probably seen it a dozen times. I'll watch it a dozen more again. The Awful Truth. It's a beautiful film. I mean, Cary Grant is an amazing actor. I love Cary Grant films, period. I anything with Cary Grant in it, I'll watch at least once. Dude, it's really good shit. And it takes a minute to get in. You gotta get accustomed to the flavor, you know what I mean, of older films. Yeah. But there's just so much to love, and especially when a guy like you who complains on his podcast about running out of fucking movies when there's goddamn 80 years of fucking movies just waiting for you.
Yeah, but there's not good movies.
Well, no, some of them you're not going to like, right? Because that's just...
Yeah, but then I lose an hour of my life.
Some of them you really... Yeah, but the ones that you like are going to more than make up. That's how movies are. You're going to go watch a movie that came out next year that you're going to hate. You're going to lose an hour of your life. You're going to lose an hour of your life. Right,
so I give movies
and masturbating. You're going to lose 1 hour of your life at least tomorrow jacking off. Come on, watch a fucking movie while you jerk.
It might be true. I try to give every movie a good shake. Like I can really only think of maybe 2 or 3 movies that I've finished watching and been like, that's a piece of garbage. Whereas like out of my movie library, if you went through my entire movie library on Amazon Prime, like my Amazon video library, if you went through all of my movies, you'd be like, this is garbage, that's garbage, these suck, this one sucks. Yeah. Or maybe not you, but a lot of people. In fact, I know a lot of people because I've mentioned like, oh, this is a good movie, and people are like, that's hot garbage. There's only a couple movies that I've ever watched that I'm like, yeah, that was a piece of shit, and I wish I didn't waste my time and money.
So Alex says he loves The Sopranos. My dog. I knew there was a reason I kept you around, even though you're a UK.
Well, yeah, because it's a TV show. He's just not supportive of those people owning guns.
He doesn't want any. Yeah, just don't pull out a gun. They fucking use guns in every episode. They're shooting somebody.
Yeah,
Jesus.
It's like Sons of Anarchy. Like everybody loves Sons of Anarchy. How many anti-gun people do you think loved Sons of Anarchy?
My wife says Sopranos is the shit. Yes, it is, my love. Yes, it
doesn't count. She's married to you. She has to say it. It doesn't.
I know. It's like Stockholm syndrome.
She could just be saying it just to appease you. I don't know.
No, it's Stockholm syndrome. I've gotten inside of her brain. I convinced her to like those. She likes those. Like
that's Stockholm syndrome.
So what?
Stockholm syndrome is if you have her kidnapped in the basement and you're fucking her with a fucking wrench every night and you're convincing her that she deserves it and she should be okay with it.
Sort of. Stockholm syndrome is like when people start to identify with their captors. I don't even need to keep her chained in the basement anymore. The Stockholm syndrome, that's how it works. It's like I can let her free and she'll come back. That's how Stockholm
Right.
syndrome works.
Okay.
And it also means that she loves The Sopranos. She had never seen an episode of Sopranos till we got together. I think we watched them when we were dating. We weren't married yet, but we were living together. That makes it easier to watch. And it's a fun.
But it makes it almost impossible to not watch. Like if you're dating someone and they're like, I'm going to watch this and you're going to watch it with me. You really don't have, if you want that puss at the end of the night, you better fucking watch fucking Sex in the City.
I mean, I could go sit outside, but hence why I've seen every single episode of America's Got Talent.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yes.
Hence why I know who the fuck Heidi Klum is, because I
don't know who that is. I've heard the name.
Exactly. I once lived in the bliss that you're in now, my friend. So the last movie I want to mention that I could watch again and again it's actually my number one. This is one movie that I could watch again and again and again. And in fact, when
so this is your movie. This is your, hold on, wait. Yeah, this is a good thing. This is good. Okay. So for me, and I'm going to preface this by saying, like, this is your movie the rest of your life. This is the only movie. You're trapped in a basement and your captor gives you one movie to watch for the rest of your life at any choice. For me, it's Den of Thieves. What is it for you?
So the Hood Diner does something like this. They have these questions that they ask their guests oftentimes, and it's like the desert island thing. It's sort of like yours. I'm not locked in a basement, but I'm on a desert island, and I have a very limited selection of things. So you get to pick one movie to the desert island, and you have to choose which movie you're going to watch, because this is the only option you get. It's called Big Trouble in Little China, and it is
I've heard of it, never seen it.
Masterpiece, my friend. It is
really
a cinematic masterpiece. I don't know if
it was like made in like the 80s or something, right?
Yeah, 85. It's a John Carpenter film. He's the guy who did the very first Halloween. He created Michael Myers and gave Michael Myers to the world. He did Escape from LA, Escape from New York.
Those are good movies, but
They Live.
It was made so long ago.
The Thing. Listen, your prejudice is really like, I'd almost rather you be in the KKK right now and telling me about how much you hate black people than old movies, because it really kind of hurts me a little bit. I mean, we're not even talking about
Boomer Bob is on the right page.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Boomer Bob, are you being serious? No, dude, that hurts me. Boomer
Bob said I hated BT, bacon, lettuce, and tomatoes.
Yeah. He doesn't even know what we're talking about. Dude, Boomer Bob, I want to be your friend. I want this to work out between us. But if you hate Big Trouble in Little China, I'm not sure where to go from there, buddy. I don't know what to do.
I've never seen it, but I definitely have heard good things. But again, it was made so long ago.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
The beautiful thing about Big Trouble in Little China is it's not supposed to be. It's got a lot of practical effects like movies from that time. It's very tongue in cheek. It's comedic. It's not supposed to be incredible choreographed martial arts like a Jet Li film. It's not supposed to be really engrossing action.
There's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Boomer Bob, thank you very much. I mean, I think you just got to go into it with the right mindset, expecting the right thing from it. And Kurt Russell is phenomenal as Jack Burton. He's a total blowhard.
Kurt Russell's in that movie?
Kurt Russell is, and I identify a lot with that character because it's a character that's really full of himself.
Because you have one eye and
he's the sidekick, and he thinks he's the main character. He thinks he's the hero. The whole movie, it's a movie. Basically, I watched the director's commentary like multiple times, and John Carpenter. Yeah, no, it's not gay. I didn't suck any dicks. I'm telling you, I didn't suck any dicks until
you said a dick in your ass.
Until after, and then I sucked dicks. But the commentary wasn't gay at all. Just because I was holding Kurt Russell's dick.
Just because you were holding a flaccid dick.
Yeah,
holding a flaccid dick isn't gay. It's only gay if it gets hard.
It's not gay if it's Kurt Russell's dick. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if it's hard as shit. It's not gay if it's Kurt Russell's dick. I'll hold his dick right now. We were at a convention. We were watching
Dwayne Johnson's dick, but that's about it.
Dwayne Johnson, Dwayne the Rock.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Tell me if he's really, is he really slanging that rock? I mean, does he got it or what?
He's on so many steroids. I can't believe he is. There's only one reason to get that big.
You tell me, motherfucker. I used to be that big.
Oh, I know. I've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
And I stand by my statement. There's only one reason to get that big.
And
And that's because you're compensating for a small dick because you want a big dick in your ass.
oh, I see. I don't really agree with any of that, but teach his own, buddy. Teach his own. No, the reason you get that big is because
Listen, it's
steroids
not like I've never had a dick in my ass.
are awesome. Steroids are fucking awesome.
Steroids sound fun only in the rage factor.
No, you don't even rage that hard. I mean,
Dude,
my
I was
wife,
on 4-hydroxycut
tell
a
you a
few days ago, and I like that.
fucking crazy. We haven't even gotten into your whole health shit, and I need to go there with
don't
you
have time for that.
point very fucking soon. Look,
Listen, I will go over if you go over, but don't fuck with me. I will go over.
I'll have to call you back after HT.
I will fuck your next guest in the ass.
Chris might like that. So, you mentioned the other day though a little bit of heartburn you've been dealing with. How's that doing?
The VA thinks I have an ulcer, so I think the best way to deal with that is drink more whiskey.
I
and
don't.
add more stress to my life.
So, if it's an ulcer, I have good news for you. If it's an ulcer,
I'm gonna die.
no, those are caused by H. pylori bacteria. It's not the fucking stress. H. pylori bacteria causes ulcers. It was relatively recently proven, I think maybe in the 90s, although maybe that study is too old for you. Maybe you don't really care much for that study because it's from like 1992, and that's just too far back for you to go. And you don't think anything quality came out before fucking 2001 or whatever fucking bullshit. I mean, what about old Arnold movies? What about like an Arnold movie like Terminator Part 1?
Listen, here's the thing. I think that I didn't expect to live this long. So if I have an ulcer at 37, 38 years old, then, you know, whatever. I mean, it's uncomfortable, but whatever. I mean, whatever. It's a little bit of fucking blood in my vomit. What's the difference?
The reason
Everyone has a little blood in their vomit, right?
The reason, if you don't have any vomit in your blood, you're not living, you fucking pussy.
Yeah, it's better than having blood in my piss.
If you don't have
blood in my cum would be the worst.
Vomit, then you need to drink harder, motherfuckers.
That's right.
Party harder. No, actually, the reason I mention it actually is because you are a relatively what's the word? I'm trying to phrase this delicately. You are a relatively consistent drinker.
Yep. Yeah, okay. Relatively consistent that's a very polite way to put it.
My best friend
very
from
polite way.
Excuse me while I get a little bit dark, and I apologize in advance. My best friend from high school died 1 year ago, and he was a bit of a drinker as well, and he died of an esophageal rupture, which
was he having sex at the time?
I don't believe, but I'm not sure. But what I'm trying to say though is that I'm not sure if you've had any diagnostic imaging done by the VA.
Because I refuse to wear a mask. So they're like, we think you might have an ulcer, and I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, okay, cool, I'm coming in, and they're like, okay, you have to wear a mask, and I was like, okay, I'm not coming in.
So, how willing are you to die over the not wearing a mask to the VA thing?
Like I said, I'm surprised I lived this long, so I don't care. At this point.
So like tomorrow would be okay for you. You're all right with that?
Dude, I think I've tied up all my loose ends.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've tied up all my loose ends. Like literally, it's all done. I mean, what do I have left to go? I'm never gonna fucking climb Everest. So
you never know. I mean,
I'm good on it.
Plus, there's the podcast. There's more.
I've seen that movie. I've seen that fucking movie with that guy from NCIS. I don't need to climb Everest.
127 hours. God,
I don't think that's it.
I ejaculated so many times during that movie.
I've seen that Mark Ruffalo movie with Cliffhanger.
I love that one. I need to rewatch that one. But what I'm trying to tell you though, bro, is that I feel a great deal of affection for you in my heart. Okay,
I love you back, buddy. But you know what? We're all gonna die, and you can't stop it, and neither can I. And if it happens, I can't. Like literally,
you have a valid point. You have a valid point. You're not going to live forever. You're not going to stop from dying. You're going to die. But wouldn't it be better to do it at like 80 than tomorrow?
When I have a fucking colostomy bag, and
there's no guarantee you'll have a colostomy bag. You could be.
I can't remember
like every other. I'm saying you don't have to have a colostomy bag. You could wear a diaper.
Get what you're saying.
You could feast.
I don't need that either. I don't want a diaper. I don't want to be living in a nursing home. My grandfather lived My grandfather lived to 102. Okay.
Eastwood is 117 right now, and he can do 57 push-ups before he fucks your mom in the ass. I don't know.
My grandfather was 102 years old. I remember on his 90th birthday, I was like, "Happy birthday, Grandpa! I love you, and I hope you have many more years." And he goes, "I hope I die tomorrow."
That's kind of a fucked up thing for your grandpa.
He said,
Man.
I don't know why I'm still here. And at the time, like, he was super Catholic, super religious. I wasn't so much, but I was like appeasing him. I was like, well, you know, God has a plan for you.
Yeah,
and he was like, no, he doesn't. There's no plan for someone that's 90 years old. I'm done with this place. I wish it would happen tomorrow.
That is
go 12 more fucking years.
I've heard folks say that. Even Boomer Bob in the chat agrees with you. He's with Donnie. He wants to die tomorrow. I'm just saying.
Bring on the meteor. I'm
I have a question for Boomer Bob too. You know what? I don't want anything to happen to Boomer Bob. He hasn't been on my podcast yet. We're trying to work something out. So what I'm saying is that, we're all going to die, but shouldn't we
are. And it happens whenever you want. You know what? When I was in 4th grade, I remember going to, one of my stop rubbing your fucking temples, Jason.
I just had to mute myself just now. I had to mute my mixer just so I could fucking sigh. I had guests that can't fucking walk. I had a guest last year who is fucking 24 pounds. He's an adult male. He's in his 20s. He's 24 pounds. I'm pretty sure you've taken shits that weigh more than that guy. And he likes being alive. You're able-bodied. You can fucking go for a walk tomorrow. You can hike in the sunshine. You could go feel the sun's rays on your body while you're laying on the beach with a beautiful woman. You got fucking half your whole life ahead of you. Wish for death when you have the colostomy bag and you're shitting your 90-year-old grandpa. I respect that, but you're young. You've got guns.
Damn it! I wish we didn't waste all of this podcast on fucking on The Sopranos and
Never
Trouble in Little China. I wish we didn't waste the fucking 50 minutes on this. We should have started here.
Take a break. Let's cut to commercial and we can get back to this. We can finish this up after I get.
I'm willing.
I've had a lot of caffeine today. I drank a fucking nitro coffee on my way.
I'm not working tomorrow, so I'm up all night with you.
Ooh, I'm not. I got a baby who's gonna wake up my ass tomorrow at 5:30. So I mean, look, but we will get back to this. Let's do another couple of minutes, then we'll cut to a commercial break for all you guys listening on the podcast players at home. We'll cut to a commercial break and we'll be right back with more of the action. But in the meantime, we're just getting into the deep shit now. 52 minutes in.
Really fucking are.
We're getting into the deep shit. I mean, look, I respect people wanting to go out on their terms, right? Like the idea of spending 8 years hooked up to machines and
jumping off a bridge.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, people do that. People find out they get diagnosed with some terminal shit, and they decide, you know what? I don't want
stories about that.
I'm in a leg, and it's going to be all this money to treat me, and I'm going to go.
If you got 2 minutes, I got a story for that.
Please tell me, Donnie. The floor is yours.
When I was a police officer, this guy, he was 65 years old, give or take, and he had some sort of cancer. I don't know what it was, but I know he had a bone marrow transplant, and so his cancer is gone. And then he goes back to the doctor one day, and the doctor says, "Your cancer is in remission. You have to get another bone marrow transplant." Now, I have not heard nothing pleasant about a bone marrow transplant. I've heard nothing good about it. So when he finds out this news, it's his son that drives him home. And his son is really worried about him, right? He's driving home. His son is driving him back to his house. And he's like, look, me and my son, which is his grandson, he's like, look, we're going to come and visit you. And, I'm going to drop you off at the house. I promise we'll be back in an hour. I'm just going to go home and pick him up. I'll be right back. The son goes inside the house, gets all the guns out. He takes all the guns with him and says, look, I promise I'm going to be back in an hour. You're good. Okay. We'll be right back. Me and my son, your grandson, right? He leaves. Now, this guy had like a secret compartment in the wall with a shotgun.
Awesome.
As soon as his son leaves, he pulls out this shotgun. He pulls a lawn chair out to the middle of the lawn. Now, this guy thought this fucking thing through. He pulls this fucking lawn chair out to the middle of the lawn. He also dragged a garden hose out with him. I'll get to where that is in a minute.
Oh, I have a good idea where this is going.
Drags the garden hose out to the lawn chair with him and he puts this fucking double barrel shotgun on the ground and blows his fucking brains all over the yard. And what he did before he did that was he called 911. He calls 911. 911, what's your emergency? He says, the man, he doesn't say his name. He just says, the man at XYZ street has just shot himself. And the operator says, okay, can you tell me more? Can you tell me what his name is? Can you tell me the address? And the guy says, nope, just that's all you need to know. The man at this address killed himself. And then he hangs up the phone, and then he blows his brains out. And then, obviously we show up, we get there, and he left a note taped to the phone. He had a cordless phone. Yeah. He left a note. This is back in 2008, before old men had cell phones. He left a note taped to the cell phone that said, "This is my name. This is what happened. I dragged the garden hose out here so that you can wash all the blood away. This is who I want you to leave this to. I want you to leave this to this person. Leave this to this person. Tell my son I'm very sorry." He fucking knew. He was like, "Look, it's over, man. I don't want to go through the bone marrow transplant. I don't want to do it again. I want to end this shit right now." And he ended it with 2 12-gauge slugs in his fucking head.
Yeah, that's serious business, man. I mean,
that guy was committed.
There was no talking him out of that. And
no, there was no talking him out of it.
But that's gotta be rough for his grandkid.
When we tracked down, his son was on his way there with the grandson. And we tracked him down, call him, "Hey, this is Officer Gates from the Nottingham Police Department." The guy immediately was like, "Don't worry, I know exactly what you're about to say."
Yeah.
That
sucks. It
sucks from my perspective, but that guy was like, "I'm done. I don't need to deal with this shit."
Yeah, but
he's committed.
Don't you feel like you'd hate that sense of you hang out with your dad, you guys go to Rangeley together and shit like that? I mean, I don't know. He may have beaten you when you're young. I don't know the details, but you guys are at least.
No, he didn't beat me when I was young. I fucked his ass, and that's what he's upset about.
That's a weird thing. Yeah,
I know. It was weird when I was 14 years old, and my own father was like, "Hey, I really need to shit some cum out right now."
That's not something that my dad ever asked me for help with. So thank God.
There is nothing I love more.
Grandman joined us.
There's nothing I love more than going darker than a man in the Congo.
Yeah, like Wesley Snipes. Wow. You went past 57 dark, my friend.
Listen, Jason, from the moment I started listening to Shit Happens, I was like, I got to be darker than this guy.
You know what? It can be done by very few people. It's not a very common thing. My sense of humor is more fucked up than I would care to admit with Grand Jan in the chat right now.
Dude, I love your patients knew who you really were.
Yeah, I don't actually have any, so I do all data analysis. So they don't. Yeah, no, I don't have to. I mean, I'm very secretive about my real life. That's why I record everything on a podcast and put it out to the world. Anybody could listen to. Yeah. Wow. So we can end part 1 right here. Put a pin in it.
Let's end part 1.
We'll go to commercial break. I'll cut to commercial break. I need to tell everybody about clicking the link in my show notes.
I'll drink water for the next however long Jason wants me to.
Please do. Look, I'm just saying, Donnie, I wasn't trying to be a Debbie Downer earlier, but the shit happened to my best friend from high school a year ago. I don't want to see that happen to anybody else. His family was so fucked up. I went down to Atlanta for the funeral and shit. I'm talking about his parents were wailing and shit. I'm like, dude, you don't want to put people through that if you don't have to. What I'm saying is the story you told me about the guy, he's got this condition.
I say be selfish.
I just think if you're,
you know what, as much as I dislike most of his lies, there's a particular co-host that I particularly have on a particular other podcast who often says death is only an inconvenience to the living, which is true. It's inconvenient to you and I. My mother was killed by a drunk driver. She's dead and gone. It's inconvenient to me. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
To her.
Yeah, but I mean, it is inconvenient to her, and at least, I mean, you have some comfort knowing that she didn't mean to do that, though. You know what I mean? You don't have to live with the idea that somebody did that to themselves. It's very hard for people. Is all I'm saying. That's the only point I'm making.
Part 2.
We'll pick that up in just a moment.
Podcast to do.
Here's some details about.
As much as I so badly want to hold you up for another hour.
Yeah, I got to join. I got to go join
obligations to other people.
I got to go join Chris. I told him I'd be there at 9, so we will pick up in part 2. I'm gonna tell you, you son of a bitch. It was a Saturday. I did my best for you. You fucking asshole. I feel bad, and you know I feel bad. You know I'm an emotional person.
And I'm hurt.
A, that's why I give a shit about your health. B, that's why I feel guilty about shit. You motherfuckers know this, and you take advantage of it. And I love you for it. I love you anyway. I don't give a fuck. So let me tell people about some Blue Chew. I'm gonna play a commercial, and we'll be right back after these messages from a fucking sponsor. So, so remember, Donnie,
because you're an emotional fucking cripple. Your soul is dog shit. Every single fucking thing about you is ugly.
Just keep that in mind until we're back.
Okay.
Okay.